What's going on, guys? Emo Tempest here, and today we're going to be doing a little, deck talk about some of the banned cards and a little bit of the good news and the bad news, the pros and cons of that. I'm personally excited for the Rikku ban. But before we do that, I just want to give a shout out to my sponsor, Happy Little Hook Factory. They will be having their starter decks, the new starter decks coming out soon, and you guys will always be able to get your Opus 10 pre-releases there too, and anything going down the road. So make sure to check the link in the description and stop by and check out the site. They have other stuff too, Vanguard and cards like that. Rikku, let's talk about it. For me, I'm actually super glad. Like I was already, I think, and if you guys know, I'm actually upset about the whole win condition of milling. I wouldn't say that it's the worst thing in the world, and I get it. Sometimes the games just go that long, and it's their grindy games, and when you're already at 6 cards and you guys are running out of options, you gotta try to make a run for it, right? And that's fine. I'm okay with games that end that way, but now I'm not okay with games that punish people for making their decks really efficient. And so I think Rikku kind of shut that down. And which was my problem, right? Because coming from Yu-Gi-Oh, it's always drawing cards is key to these kinds of games, and then manipulation is obviously close second. But Rikku kind of puts a stop to all of that, right? She kind of just says, "All right, I'm gonna punish you for drawing and doing good work, and it makes you mill you probably it takes." You're effectively getting rid of 3 to 5 cards a turn, which is crazy. And it's really annoying. It's like getting hit with Paul, at least. You know how we were talking about Paul? It was like you get hit twice and it's pretty much game, right? Because you've lost so many cards. Yeah, well, Rikku is just that, is on that level too. When you have cards like Fina and Yasmat, Valifor and the combo or whatever, and even the pain, just to recur it. And so for me, it's just annoying. I wasn't happy that the game took a turn that way. And I know a lot of people were asking for mill decks, and that's fine. You guys got it, and I hope you played the out of this deck, and I hope you went super ghastly annoying with this, with just a 30 summon deck and just Porom and Lena and all this recursion and stuff. I hope you guys did that, and I hope you enjoyed it. For me, I didn't even touch it. I probably won't before. It's not too long now before it goes away, and I'm definitely not going to be playing that. So that's the good news for me. Now the bad news, I guess, for the deck is that that the deck is still going to be good. I put this other Rikku up here just so you guys can see, and it's going to add an EX burst count to the Weewa version, but it's not going to be that much. It's not. I don't know if the deck will change enough, just considering that it's not going to go into the mill game. But it will be fun to see. I'm actually going to start playtesting as if it's already banned. I know it's still a few weeks away, but I need to start preparing, right? Because this is already. I already had the mindset that Rikku meta was going to be what I had to deal with at Nationals, and I'm honestly super relieved that I won't be dealing with Rikku meta there. So Water's back, which I'll talk about in a second, but that makes me really happy that there's going to be a lot more diversity in the game, and that's really why they do these bans, right? If we go back to Thaumaturge, Dadaluma, and now Rikku, that's kind of what the problem was, right? So Turbo Ice was suffocating, right? It suffocated the game really quickly, right? Because it didn't matter what you played. It literally did not matter what you played, and that sucks because the best thing about this game is the ability to be creative, right? Like mixing the colors and playing cards you like, and combinations that are fun and creative, and yeah, some might be better than others, but there's still ways to win, right? But Thaumaturge, Gesper, whatever you guys say, however you want to say it, is lose 4 cards in a turn and deal with 3 bodies, and pray, and you're done. The game's done in three turns, right? So that was very, that literally suffocated the game. And mad respect to both sides of the table, really. The players who took that deck and made modifications, adjusted to meta, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And then I talk about this with some of the local players here, and it's like no matter how bad these decks get, you don't see 16 of them in the top tables, right? Like you don't see the whole top 8 like the same deck, right? Like coming from Yu-Gi-Oh, for me that's how it was. It was, you'd always see like I don't know, man, like elemental dragons in top 8, like, or top 16. It was all of them. There was literally 85% or 75%, if not more, if not the whole thing, like with one mermill or one wind ups or whatever, right? Whatever it was, I don't even remember what the metas are. Dino rabbits. In like all of it, and it would never be like that. And mad respect for everyone and that just proves my point, right? Like yeah, that deck can be good, these decks can be good, but I think creativity will always prevail, and that's kind of I think the message that they want to send, like that Square tries to send, and it's really good. The other thing is yeah, the Dataluma. Why did you like? I don't. Again, we didn't talk about this, but why did they do the Dataluma? The Dataluma was because it was not so. It wasn't as suffocating as the Turbo, but it did restrict almost like certain cards to be played, right? And that's not what we want. Like anything that like auto targets, like the snow, or just anything like that. Ice, I guess in general, ice and lightning. Kind of took a back seat because Dataluma was so relevant, right? And it sucks when, again, you have to remove those combinations from the game, like those colors, and then that's not a healthy environment either, right? Because we were down to, it was Earth, Wind, Mono Wind, and then Water, and then there was the occasional Ice, Earth eventually, right? But even that was like, oh, this is my worst matchup, kind of. Like I'd always hear Ice, Earth players say that that's my worst matchup, right? Because they'll drop the Dataluma, you can't touch it, or you pay for it, and then it's in that 4 spot, so it doesn't get hit with the Zaliras, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the deck almost really didn't have any answers for it, and that kind of like put Ice and Lightning to on the back burners there, and that's really why they did it. I'm not saying it was necessary, but relatively, that's what's going on. And then now with this Rikku, again, like I already talked about, that's the real problem, right? Like, there's a lot of creative decks out there that are just that, yeah, you can play them, but realistically, it kind of constricts the play style too. Like, I know there's a lot of control players that play 1 card per turn, set up a backup, and then kind of just do 1 damage at a time, and like force your opponent to exhaust themselves in a sense where, like, in order to like overcome what you're playing, right? And Rikku just says no, because like Rikku will sit there and just go, okay, I won't do anything either, but you're gonna lose cards every turn, and yeah, and so that was another thing, and like I don't expect like this to be the last ban, and I think if I think I said this last time too, and it's hard to get everyone on, but in this podcast, hopefully we recorded this weekend, we're going to talk about actually not so much the bans and the Rikku and stuff, but what a rotation might actually look like, and some of the things that are drastically going to change. Now, I don't think a rotation is coming, but it's still something that if Square still listens around here, it would be good for them to acknowledge at least. And I'm sure everyone's talked about it already, but it needs to be said again. But yeah, so again, old Rikku, people might play this Rikku. The deck won't change much. It'll probably change from the milling to more EX burst and maybe a little more annoying, but it's not gonna be less. It's gonna be a lot less one-sided. Next, we're gonna talk about like things we should be expecting actually going into this new meta. I think Earth is insanely strong against a lot of things. Like, I was honestly believing that Earth was the best bet against Weewa, and that was because of Mist Dragon, Hilgigas, Lael, Catsith. It kind of has a lot of things to mess with that deck. It's complicated, but it's possible, right? Earth has a lot of really good 2-drops, which makes their curve really decent. And of course they have now with Regis we have a regular searcher for the best card Earth has in my opinion, which is Noctis, and yeah, and kind of and Mist Dragon helps all of that, right? So it's like Mist Dragon can prevent Diabolos, which is one of the really powerful wind cards, wind summons, in wind water or in just wind or any wind variant, right? And then choose a forward. You control Dole. It doesn't receive any damage. This lets Noctis fight, use his ability to fight freely for the rest of the turn. So it's very, very, very relevant. And then remove all cards from the break zone from the game and draw a card. Doesn't you guys have already played, right? It didn't. It was like overhyped, it was hyped, right? And then it was overhyped, and then now it is a good card. There's no doubt about it. It's like $10 foil and 40 for the full art, if not more, I think. So that was great. But it kind of has, this one card alone has a lot of answers for a lot of decks, and so it really makes a difference. For water, now on the other hand, 5-drop Una might make another play. Or I've seen a lot of Earth Waters and Wind Waters with this deck. This helps. It'll always help against the mirror match, right? For most of these, for anything that plays Una or Water, right? Because it's gonna matter like against Earth when it's recurring stuff, and against the Porums and all that recursion too that deck has, it's gonna be important. And now with Rikku out of the way, it's like it might be a little easier to handle. The deck might not roll so fast. We don't know. I don't think that might actually be real, but we can hope. But I do predict a lot of Unas coming out soon. And then always a very interesting tech choice. Ian really showed this one off a bit ago, but Hellsdagger is also a decent card. It's really good because you drop a big guy, and you can remove all the cards from your opponent's break zone. So it's like not much. So you can cancel like Mist Dragon, right? You have other summons that cancel summons, and you have things like that. But there's less things to cancel auto abilities other than Cholo. So he's kind of like on that spectrum where you can just drop him in, and they're like, all right, well, I guess I gotta eat this, right? And worst case scenario, he just gets you something back, which might not be what we want usually, but that's something else that he's useful for. And so I think these are kind of things we're gonna expect. Veritas, the hype around Veritas has gone down a little bit. He's already going down in value, and so we won't be. I don't think we'll be seeing triple of that in Water, but we might be seeing things like this in other mono color decks that aren't playing Veritas or Yuri. And it's going to be something you guys should definitely watch out for. But good news is that we can play decks with these cards in them now. So obviously I'm putting Layla here for Viking because we're going to be able to draw cards again and not feel so shitty about it. And at least that's how I was. So I'm excited to be playing Water again this week. I'm actually going to Locals today with a Water deck. So that should be fun again. Now I built a deck around this Golbez, and it was by far the funnest thing I've played so far. I will be sharing that with you too. I've been doing a lot of Ice Lightning decks lately. But yeah, this Golbez is super broke, right? If you get it off, when you get it off, it's good, right? And it's really, it's really good, man. Cause it's just lightning and tap, right? Like it's not. So the best times I do this with this deck is like I'll open one lightning backup, and that's all you need, and him, right? Because you'll turn one, you drop the backup. Turn two, you'll drop a 5 Golbez, and if they don't have an answer for him next turn, you're already trying to summon stuff, and the deck plays a lot of high cards that just do stupid things. Like I've literally gotten what's it called, Nidhogg. Off of this, I've gotten the new Vayne, which like turn 3 kind of says, "Ooh, I don't know what I'm doing anymore," because he can't effectively deploy anything without having to generate it, like without being able to save it, right? And then I dropped a Sephiroth, like both Sephiroths really, the 7 and the 8, the Dark 8. So it's like I'll drop this, Sephiroth comes out, you lose 2 cards, and then yeah, let's go. And then I'll do it again next turn and drop something else, like something casual, like an Alua, and then give it haste, and like it has haste, so it's great. Anyway, but decks like this weren't possible, right? Because even if you're playing stuff like Yule or like Ephemeral, like I know Ephemeral and this don't go together, but I mean like things that set up, like Fusoya was literally unplayable, right? Because of like how relevant Rikku was. And so, things like this are playable again, and that's something you guys should expect a lot more of. Fusoya will be coming, I think, pretty strong to this meta, and it's gonna it's gonna hurt because there's a lot more really strong EX bursts that kind of make the deck good. I expect an Earth Fusoya to come soon, and then more Water Fusoya to come back. But yeah, and then Titan, talking about the EX burst deck, I don't think this is one deck that definitely wasn't being played, and that was the Mono Earth 30E 35 EX bursts. And the main reason is because it doesn't have to fight, right? Like everyone says, the way to beat those EX burst decks is just remove their forwards and pass, right? Let them overpay for stuff and then just fight them when they don't have forwards, right? Or like try to hit them when they don't have forwards. But we definitely just removed everything from the board, and then it didn't have to attack. It would just mill it out, right? Because the players were already overpaying for stuff to try to like put a board up, and then just wait for the EX burst. But now that's not a problem. It won't be a problem anymore. The EX burst decks are going to be really strong again, and you guys have to account for that. And yeah, I think that's gonna wrap up this short talk about these things. I will be playing Water for a while again. It's been a while since I don't know if anybody remembers this. I said after I got my invite, I'd be playing like Mono Fire, although until Nats, and I haven't been doing that. I have been messing around with it, but I haven't. I've been playing everything else. Like I've played 2 Ice Lightnings, Water Lightning, Mono Earth. I played for a few weeks. I'm on Fire Lightning right now, and I did Chocobos last time too. These are all little fun decks. Like I try to take 3 decks to locals every week, and I play as much as I can with all of them for fun. So, but yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Later.